Catalyst project downtown that's, we're working on bringing that together. It's too early to really talk too much about that yet. But we can do the short term there around the conference, around the Arts Center, and we'll have we have a design of that, of a new entrance into that, and some things, changing the parking and the fence around that. You'll see it, you'll understand what I'm getting.
I'm probably gonna ask Mark to come to the April meeting and give us an update to council, put it up there and show us, so.
Yeah, because it's 3D images, if you're not seeing it. It'll be on the Vision Moorhead page on Facebook, we'll be able to see a lot of that, but the presentation he gives is a little different than just watch it, so, you know. And some buildings in town that are white, and that will be identified and be different. But with those things, that's pretty much what we've been doing. The Main Street program, I was telling you before, is changing from preservation as a focus. It's still important, but economic development is becoming more of the focus across from the national program down to the state level. And so these statistic things that we do every year in the fall now are going to be done every quarter. So I'll be reporting those at the end of every quarter.
Speaking of that, you've been working along with some other folks, including Dan Markwell and some folks at New City, also downtown Moorhead, about some incentives. We can't get into detail, but does that come along pretty well, trying to create an incentive package or a tool
Yeah,
toolbox?
and we can speak to the TIF idea, I
Yes.
think, pretty much. One of the, tax increment financing is a great tool if we have the size to make it work. And the thing is that Bobby Bryant, I've communicated with her to the League of Cities. They have someone there at the League of Cities that's knowledgeable about this, that's been traveling. I haven't been to speak to them. But she was questioning whether we were big enough as a city to do that or not, whether we could actually pay for growth with growth, which is the idea behind that. So we'll know more about that as we move forward and talk to those.
Robert Cooper, I think, is who we're gonna be talking to today. He's on the road.
And that's coming up here very soon. And like I say, if you'll be interested, Wednesday, we'll certainly get any other you want to see what we're doing here. I would love to.
Wednesday at noon at the conference center.
Yep. Or here at 1 or 2 o'clock, we can do the same thing. Just let us
We'll probably come here, won't we, for March?
afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's what I got. Any questions?
Yes, I think it's great to have the downtown cleanup program, idea, whatever. I would love to see that extended to neighborhoods. You know, you could have somebody in charge of each neighborhood or street, just communicate to the residents that this is the day we're gonna clean up, or this is the weekend, it's just, up where Glenn and I live, we have a lovely creek, and it's got lots of trash in it. That could be-
Sure.
just clean up our whole town.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with pride and ownership.
Oh, I agree
When
completely.
we do go to the trouble to do that, you'd be less likely to throw stuff out the next time, I believe.
And somebody, even though it's we're gonna do it downtown, still, the town is in the county, and we do have a pride coordinator, and that's Bobby Wells. So make sure we talk to him about that as well to do it. And I think April has a comment.
Yeah, it's April 22nd, that's Earth Day, and we are cleaning up on Triplet Creek. We have several student groups that are coming, that are gonna be working in through there, and we're hoping more people from the community come, because there's trash bags hanging out.
But we do it the same day, coordinate that the same day. you
That
think?
would be.
What time do you meet,
That's
April?
We were gonna do just 1 to 5 o'clock.
What if we
But we
did
can
9
change
to
that.
1,
We
9
can
to 1?
expand it, yeah.
Downtown.
You could expand it to the neighborhoods also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Have your people call my people.
Okay, well, that'd be me, all of you.
That sounds like a big meeting. All right, any other questions or comments for Tony? Anything else? Thanks, Tony.
All right, thank you.
All righty, next we'll have a Tourism Moorhead Conference Center report. Joy Brown, please.
I've got 2 things. One, Scott, the trailheads will handle the signage for the trailheads. So want to make sure that those big signs, that we'll incorporate that as a task force. And as far as Tony goes with the marking of the crosswalks, I think I've got a grant that I can use to pay for that.
Music to our ears.
Yes. So I did not have it figured out. We got it by accident, so I haven't figured out how to use it exactly, and that worked perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, sorry. I've been trying to hold on to all that.
I saw you were squirming. You're dying to say it.
Yeah. Me. Jamie and I just got back from Sandusky, Ohio. I wouldn't recommend traveling anybody that far, but especially in the vehicle with the 2 of us laughing and cutting up. But we did learn a lot. It's the Meeting Professionals International Conference. I went to it ever since I started the conference center. It's this region is what it is. It's not really international. It's this region. It's Kentucky and Ohio. We've got it in Louisville next year, so I think that's going to help us a whole lot, get us some very good publicity for that. We usually sponsor it, and we didn't this year, but I want to let you know too, we have already given out, tourism as a whole, $154,000 in grants this year. That's the most we've done in, and that's what's already committed through the end of the fiscal year. So we've already got money committed for next fiscal year already, so.
Have you reached your peak on that? Is this it? Is this your, do you have more?
I've
that
got
was
more to
allotted?
go, yeah.
Okay.
We keep raising that budget up, and we're getting ready to have our first, meeting with our board, with our committee about the budget, and I've already upped that over 200,000.
Awesome.
So that's something we've been working on ever since we built the conference center, and so since it's starting to handle itself, we started putting more money into that, so.
Great.
The Southern Muskie Fest was held at the conference center. Jamie secured that event here. They do it all around this region, and the turnout was so great that they're coming back. This is a great thing because we get all kinds of states come in. We have built, I don't want to say we, I think of the task force as a whole. We've constructed some mountain bike turns and everything. We call it fingers up at the top of Ambergy Rock. That's been so attractive to people, it's not even done, that the Kentucky Point Series is bringing a mountain bike race up there.
Awesome.
So that's coming up. That's not even done yet, and they're wanting to race on it already. So that's our goal. Of course, muskie, bass, and crappie tournaments are coming up. The Kentucky Proud Expo at the Conference Center is April 15th and 16th. And then at the Art Center, First Friday starts on April 1st. It's already starting to happen. So getting into tourism season. So I think we're on a good pace.
Appreciate it. Any other questions for Joey? Appreciate it. All righty, Utility Plant Board report, Glenn?
I'll just close it off. Real quickly, you have your reports in there. Holly is doing well, getting her feet wet and understanding what's going on here. We do have some things that we're looking at long-term, I think I mentioned before, some long-term plans for
Thanks, Scott.
whether we need to be looking at the treatment plan. I think I explained that, the water treatment, once you get to 70-75%, you really have to have a plan in place, and we're getting close to that. It's been averaging about 68% this year, so we're continuing to watch that. Water usage or loss is up. I quickly told Holly, she said, we're still within average, and I said, average isn't good enough, you're gonna get questioned, so they're working diligently to try to find out where those leaks are. I mean, it is, industry standard is 15%, and they've been running about 11 to 13 back and forth. So they're actually bringing some outside people to look at that, so.
Now, is that monthly, is that for this last month, Glenn, the water loss?
Yeah.
Not the way we pay our bill a month behind?
Right, and what the figures you're seeing are a month behind too.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay,
Any questions? I think she's gonna come next meeting.
she's coming for the next 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you, Glenn. Morehead State University report with Madonna.
Thank you. Don't really have a formal report, but just to say with, beginning the 18th, which is Friday this week, yeah. We will, start our shutdown of some areas of campus for spring break related to construction. They're going to begin bringing in the big pieces of the prefab concrete to the parking garage is really gonna take shape during the next few weeks. That is, cutting utilities and doing that sort of work for the residence hall. That area of campus will be without electricity. All of campus will be without hot water. Some of our buildings will be without water in the recreation center, the residence hall part of campus. So spring break was the optimum time to do that work. So for the community, the way that's gonna mostly affect the community would be our community memberships to the recreation center will be closed that week because there's no hot water and no electricity. So you'd be in the dark with no water, the machines won't work, the pool will be colder than people think it is, and there we go. So, and hopefully we'll be back to normal. The temporary dining structure on the west end of campus is coming along, and as soon as we are out of school in May, we will start our transition as soon as we can to the Board of Education building those offices, and after commencement then ADUC will be closed, and that project will begin.
And that'll be closed for,
Probably 18 months, yeah, 2 years,
okay,
probably.
all right.
Okay.
They're working on
Any
Fort
questions
Bell.
for Madonna?
Can't remember tonight.
Graduation just ahead of time is
Saturday, the May
14th.
14th.
I believe, yeah.
Final.
Brown County, your graduation,
We don't know yet.
don't know yet, so
The
they,
press is here.
you don't know, okay.
What
But,
press
I
always
mean,
moves around, cause we
You're,
can
it
still apply
does,
that.
but it'll be after our, the reason I say is we always leave it set up for you all, so.
Yeah, I think goal was around the 20th, but that's not been set.
Because they got middle and high school, right?
That's right.
That uses
Yep.
it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madonna.
Thank you.
All right. Future growth and development projects, Joe.
You have my packet, if you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions or anything for Joe? All right. Item 11, ratification of payment of monthly bills and statements. We have a motion to,
Motion to approve.
Second.
second is, sorry Bruce, you beat you. Carolyn, second. Do we have any discussion?
I have one. On page 74, we paid a bill to Kentucky Power Company for 2608 for electric at Big Perry. Now, you said it was,
Should be a repeater.
a repeater, but Alan said he's gonna check into it because we may not be supposed to pay that electric bill, but he's gonna find out.
Okay. All right.
First time it's been on the game.
It's the first time I've noticed it.
You think that was misbilled to us instead of somebody else, Alan?
Yeah, the only thing I could think of on there is the office one repeater that's on the TGT power plant. That's the only thing I could think of.
Was it a significant amount?
$20.
So it's low power, whatever it is. Okay, we'll check on that. Everything else is okay in line? Any, Bill, you good with everything? All righty, hearing none, no more questions, we'll go ahead and take over.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Seeger.
Yes.
All right, item 12 is general business, 12A, general business agenda, unfinished business. A1, second reading of an ordinance to close a portion of Lee Clay Avenue.
So moved.
I'll skip that.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, please call roll.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Seeger.
Yes.
Item 12A2 is emergency response plan. Beth has been working on that closely with Greg. She asked that be moved, the report be moved to April. She's not able to come tonight. And I talked to Greg about it, and they have been in contact. You have anything to add on that, Tim? Okay. We'll move on next then to B. New business, B1, CDBG Inspiration Center, resolutions. We have, we have the grant agreement, the legally binding agreement, gateway contract, guide form, and procurement policy.
Go to them all separately. Make a
Alright.
motion that we approve the resolution for the Inspiration Center for the CDBG grant number 15.061.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mark's here if you'll have.
Yeah, if you have any questions, Mark and Tony are here, if you have any questions.
This is what we do every year.
Yeah.
Typical guidelines.
All right, hearing none, please call roll.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Yes.
Seeger.
Yes.
Okay. Motion for B,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion?
This is the legally binding agreement.
Yes.
For the audience.
Hearing none, please call roll.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Seeger.
Yes.
Item C, under the CDBG, is Gateways contract.
So moved.
Second.
Glad y'all got your ringer.
started.
motions.
Hey, I'm glad y'all got your ringer, Tony, that's good, you get it through. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Seeger.
Yes.
Item under CDBG, item D, guide form. Lynn, you're on a roll.
So moved.
Go on, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call roll.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Seeger,
Yes.
Item E, procurement policy.
So moved.
Second.
How dare you, Carolyn?
I have a question about this one.
Yes, go ahead.
I love procurement. So when we adopt this, are we just adopting it for this specific?
Yes.
It does not
Yes.
go into us?
No, it has nothing to do with the city
I just
procurement
spent 2
policy.
days in the
It's
federal
just-
procurement process
When you
training.
spend the CDBG funds, yeah,
You
the
have to
state
have
wants
the.
to adopt that policy.
Yes,
So you have to-
municipality
you have
has
to
to adopt
It's
it.
just for this project only, to answer your question.
Because we had to adopt one for Center Street.
It's like a,
I just wanna make sure
are
I
okay
didn't
with
follow
it,
through
response
because
kind of thing. Okay.
Your procurement scope, we're
I
gonna
have a
hear.
little question.
Yes,
Is
Carol.
this your entire budget? You get money from another source than this?
Because of our partnership with Laurel Run Management, we are contracted with Laurel Run Management as Pathways to operate the program. And basically, the CDBG is for, staff, salaries and some big ticket items. And then other funding comes from our Department of Corrections contract, facilitation of food stamps and donations. And then our builder receives his money separate through the facilitation of the Section 8 leases.
You talked about donations, you're on, because of the way you're made up, you're legally made up, you can't have can you have fundraisers?
Oh, Pathways does have.
But I mean, directly for this, they can have it specific, okay, good. They have it specifically narrowed to you all. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, Tony. All right. Go-
I moved, but I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I think
seconded.
Jan seconded.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good to talk about it.
Well, we were all shocked Lynn didn't move, so, all right, go ahead and call roll, please.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Yes.
Moving on to, under new business, I'm sorry, under, item, 2, which is municipal order stop payment on checks policy.
So moved.
Second. Bruce,
Any discussion?
so is this big a problem that we,
Let's explain.
Well, our city clerks just want to have something they can refer to when people call them and say, we didn't receive our check, so they can say, refer to this.
and I
We
also,
are having mail issues.
Well, you want to bring that up, you want to bring it up? Go ahead.
Joan got 10 pieces of mail today that was postmarked in December and January.
One of them was a significant check
One of them was a $70,000 check.
from Morehead State
There
University.
had already been a stop payment put on.
She'd already handled it.
She had already been reissued another check, but it finally came today. It was postmarked, I think,
December.
January 11th,
Yeah, right.
and she got it today.
I called the postmaster. We delivered all those envelopes to them because there were stop payment fees for the vendors. There was also one from tourism.
Yeah.
There was one from 2 businesses in town, and those were, the one from Morehead State was January, there were a few of them were December. Postmaster apologized, asked to bring us the things, they would recoup whatever fees, but, you know, that's, all of it totaled up to between $75,000 and $100,000 worth. Joan had not caught it and stopped payment, you know, right? That we-
Well, the businesses.
the business stuff?
Yeah, but I mean, if we had.
Again, you had already stopped payment and reissued a new check. I think tourism had to.
No, this
Yeah,
is
this was-
everything.
They were-
This is different, yeah.
They-
And this is
We're
different.
talking two different things.
They were all properly posted, they were all properly addressed, there was no markings on them, so. That was interesting, yes. All right, we need to vote on this?
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Atkins,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Franzini,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Seeger,
Yes.
Item 3 under new business, first reading of, quote, an ordinance amending the city of Morehead, Kentucky's annual budget for fiscal year 7/1/2015 through 6/30/2016 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government, budget amendment number 3, close quote.
So moved, so we can discuss.
Second.
Discussion.
So there's some concerns here, as I would point to the budget committee going into next year, but I would also ask that we figure out how we can tighten up our belts now. specifically, I'm gonna ask how we could be 50% over budget already on the, new concession stand out here that isn't 50% done.
What you have is where the location is on that was dictated by floodplain. You could not put it in the floodway, back on the other side of where the older one is. It had to go into the floodplain, and the only location is in a lower, it's below the road right now. And we had to bring that up to meet the elevation, for the state in that, floodplain area, so that the base floor elevation meets our ordinances and meets, state policy there on.
But did this all happen within the last month, or?
No, the whole thing has happened, that what you see going over is completely what is in the floor itself. There's close to, all of it's in the
I
solid
guess my
floor.
problem with that is we approved this through last year's budget process. If we knew that we were facing something that was gonna have this bigger percentage effect on it, I would have liked to have had some opportunity to discuss it before we're at a place where we have to finish it. I mean, what, if you're saying we knew that before we started and we suddenly would have to change, then the quotes that we got, then we're irrelevant. And that's a lot of money over. I know it's $33,000 not a budget, big amount of our budget, but when we budgeted 60 and you go to 33, and we're still not done, I have some concerns with that. And
What would you,
it should come back to us to say, look, we got a problem, and we can't do it for 60. So can we move it somewhere else and put it for 60? Can we do something else? Do we need to rebid it? Whatever, but you're talking about 50% over on a project that we bid. Are we doing it all ourselves, or are we? Okay.
Piecework. Oh, you asked for a change order, Joe, just like that?
Yeah, just for the actual amount over for the, where we had to put it into the flood. There's, over $5,000 in concrete in the floor, just in concrete itself. The gravel had roughly 7 to 8 tandem truckloads of stone that had to go into it, not counting the block and the foundation that was laid up around that.
would you say that it's when we talked about it at budget, would you say that we budgeted low instead of high? And was that part of it? Or and you say that once you got into it, costs were more than you thought they were gonna be?
We budgeted somewhat low, but still the majority of the amount that's being asked for is from where the location is set. Instead, if we'd have come across the road up on the hill, it would have been across the road, but it would have been a monolithic 4, and you would not have had $5,000
Well,
in.
I do know this, in finishing up, the original plan was to have our employees frame it out and do some other work, but due to the weather, we were behind because of the location. We were behind several weeks because of the weather. Because of that, the folks that were gonna work on that and help frame it, and do that kind of thing, now they're out mowing fields and getting ditches ready, and they're doing what they have to do to get us ready for spring. So we don't have them, so we had at the last minute, we didn't have it bid out to frame, we were gonna do it. Several of those things have happened, and again, it's not a $33,000 reason the weather, but a significant part of that is due to the weather and having us to adjust on the fly, correct?
It sounds like we got it started and we don't either go backing up on it.
Right, there's no choice.
We can't back
Yeah,
up
that's what
on
I'm
it.
saying. So I don't know any other choice that you would have, because I finished it.
David, now through this, I'm gonna call on Dave Morrison, the director. You knew early on, you and Joe, I don't know what the early on is, but you knew that we were gonna be some over. And you and Joe Joe talk about this every day.
Right.
And take Glenn through the process that you knew you were gonna take some from here and there, but it's gotten now because of some last minute changes.
You already hit on some of the topics. We intended on framing it and roofing it ourselves with our staff, but with the weather, with the concrete not being able to be poured, well, first of all, let's back up. The plumbing issue backed this way up. Is that correct, Joe?
We lost a month or two on
Between 7
that.
and 8 weeks before.
And
the
then we
plans for the
couldn't
plumbing
pour
improved.
concrete because of the weather during the winter, or taking a chance on breaking up the concrete due to freezing. So, and now we're into the spring where my guys are actually getting all the parts ready, up and running and ready for the spring. So, we thought it would be more beneficial to sub that out and have someone frame it. Now, that's about approximately $5,000 worth right there, just right off the top of my head. But as far as what Joe's telling you, the location did have a whole lot to do with, a majority of pricing in that. You're talking 40, I believe last time I checked, 40 some odd $1,000 just for the bottom end of that over there, because of the location and where it's at, had to be filled in with gravel.
And for people to know this, and this is something, I used to work at the city park, and I've been there through some of the bad flooding and things. If you get a chance, when you drive by during the day, when you can see, if you look at the old concession stand, there are watermarks up on it 4 and 5 feet high that flooded every single time water came over. So, we had to make sure that wasn't gonna happen to this. And when we got into it, Joe's estimates were low and the prices were higher. That's all I can say.
What was the estimate?
We had $60-some thousand.
$63,000.
63,000.
The original.
And you're 33 over.
Yes.
Why, tell me why we didn't choose to put it across the road, if that would have been a better place in terms of water?
It would have cost even more.
Oh, and why?
Yeah.
Tell them, Joe.
Well, and I thought the major issue was the fact that you had the kids, you didn't want
We
the
were
kids
trying
running across.
to determine a location to where the kids could still be able to
I remember this.
utilize the area and not have to cross the road.
Some kids will have, oh, I don't wanna get in trouble for that, we're using the word, some children,
Yes,
some youths will have to still cross the road, but the majority of them
right, will be
are on that side, yes. And we are gonna work on putting, we talked about that last time, putting down the.
Speed bumps.
Yes, yeah, or pumps or whatever.
How
No,
much-
Glenn, I agree with you.
How much more we got to go?
We still have, the rough in plumbing and electrical have to be finished with inside the building itself. They'll finish up framing probably the end of this week, beginning of next.
Are you
so we got that.
Are you confident this budget amendment will finish this out?
It's gonna be close.
Okay.
Well, I guess my concern is, like I said, $33,000 is not a big deal in this budget, but,
It is on from one item.
well, we had a substantial carryover, and we have to live within our means. You know, to me, when we have a carryover, that should be going towards capital things, and this is one of those capital things, I'm okay with that, but I also think that we need to be very careful as we move forward on our expenditure lines. I mean, there's just some issues out there that